stretching for an astonishing 4.5 kilometers, 2.8 miles, along the pristine white sands of the Baltic Sea island of Rügen, Germany, stands a brutal, monolithic ruin unlike any other on Earth. This is the Prora Resort, a colossal, unfinished resort complex conceived by Adolf Hitler as the ultimate vacation destination for 20,000 workers, a project chillingly nicknamed the Colossus of Prora. This massive standardized block of concrete and steel was never finished, its purpose interrupted by the very war it was designed to justify. Today, it remains a haunting, sprawling scar on the landscape, a physical testament to the megalomania and twisted ideology of the Third Reich. It was intended to showcase the benevolent side of the Nazi regime, promising leisure and equality under the banner of strength through joy, Kraft durch Freude, KDF. The central question that Prora Resort forces us to confront is this: was Prora truly intended as a paradise for the average German worker, or was it a cynical, large-scale piece of architectural propaganda, a monumental deception designed to mobilize loyalty? And what became of the thousands of workers who built this colossal, abandoned dream? To unmask the secrets of the Colossus is to delve into the dark heart of Nazi social engineering, revealing how even leisure and vacation were militarized for total control, and how a project meant for joy ultimately became a monument to abandonment and the forgotten fate of its laborers. The concept of Prora was rooted in the Nazi organization Kraft durch Freude, KDF, or Strength Through Joy. Launched in 1933, the KDF was designed to control and organize the leisure time of the German populace, replacing independent labor unions and creating a sense of national unity and loyalty to the Reich. Hitler understood that propaganda wasn't just about rhetoric, it was about providing perceived benefits. The KDF promised cheap vacations, affordable theater tickets, and sports programs, all designed to keep the working class happy, occupied, and compliant. Prora was to be the crowning jewel of this program. The scale. Construction began in 1936. The complex was designed to house 20,000 guests simultaneously, with every single room offering a sea view. It featured a theater, a cinema, 2 massive swimming pools, and a festival hall designed by the legendary architect Clemens Klotz. The standardization. Every room was identical: 5 by 2.5 meters, 2 single beds, a wardrobe, and a sink. This uniformity reflected the Nazi ideal: equality of experience under the control of the state, no individuality, only collective identity. The goal: Prora was intended to indoctrinate the worker during his vacation, ensuring that even relaxation served the needs of the state. The sheer ambition of the project was meant to project an image of a powerful, caring regime that could deliver monumental promises. But the truth was far more sinister. By 1939, construction on Prora was far advanced. 8 identical housing blocks were structurally complete. Over 9,000 workers were engaged in the project daily. However, the complex was never finished. The outbreak of World War II in September 1939 halted the construction abruptly. Resources, manpower, steel, and concrete were immediately diverted to the war effort, specifically to urgent arms production and the construction of the Atlantic Wall. The abandonment. The massive, empty concrete structures stood silent. They were never used for their intended purpose. The dream of a worker's paradise became an immediate, colossal failure, a haunting vision of a future that never was. Wartime use. During the war, parts of the complex were briefly used for military purposes. A naval training school was housed there, and later, it provided emergency housing for refugees fleeing the Allied bombing raids in eastern Germany. Its use was always practical and military, never leisurely. The Colossus stands. The sheer durability of the concrete meant that when the war ended, the Soviet army, which occupied the area, struggled to demolish the massive blocks. They succeeded in destroying only some parts, leaving the bulk of the 4.5-kilometer structure standing as a colossal, enduring ruin. The unfinished state of Prora serves as one of the most powerful physical metaphors for the collapse of the Third Reich's utopian promises. The most chilling secrets of the Colossus lie in the exploitation inherent in its construction and the subsequent fate of the thousands of laborers. Propaganda versus reality. While the KDF promised grand vacations, the reality was that the construction was handled by large German construction companies using standard labor practices, often involving long hours and intense pressure. The promise of joy was reserved for the end product, not the process of building it. Forced labor and concentration camp connection. As the war progressed and KDF workers were called to the front, labor resources dwindled. By 1943-44, the line between civil labor and forced labor blurred drastically. While direct, large-scale use of concentration camp inmates is not definitively documented throughout the entire construction period, forced laborers, including foreign prisoners of war and workers from occupied territories, were increasingly utilized in Nazi construction projects across the Reich. Prora, as a massive strategic project, undoubtedly relied on this dark workforce as the war escalated. The fate of the KDF workers. The thousands of German workers who initially built Prora were all mobilized for the war. The KDF organization, which had promised them leisure, instead delivered them directly to the front lines, effectively serving as a massive registry for military conscription. Their loyalty, cultivated through promises like Prora, was quickly exploited for military ends. The fate of Prora's workers highlights the core deception of the Nazi regime. The promise of a collective, joyful future was merely a tool to facilitate total militarization and, ultimately, destruction. The empty rooms of Prora are silent witnesses to the broken promises made to the German working class. Prora Resort is more than just an abandoned building. It is a profound historical document written in concrete. It embodies the full scope of Nazi megalomania, the immense ambition, the cynical social engineering, and the ultimate catastrophic failure. The truth is that Prora was never about vacation. It was about control. It was a massive piece of propaganda designed to secure absolute loyalty by standardizing every aspect of life, including relaxation. The vast scale was meant to overwhelm the individual, reminding them they were a tiny, replaceable part of a glorious machine. The legacy is the abandoned structure itself. Standing today, half renovated into modern apartments and half preserved as an industrial ruin, Prora serves as a chilling monument to the dark efficiency and eventual collapse of the Third Reich. It reminds us that even the most colossal dreams of utopian control are ultimately destined to crumble when built upon the foundations of tyranny and exploitation. The Colossus of Prora is Hitler's unfinished, everlasting monument to failure and a silent warning etched into the shores of the Baltic Sea.